A lot of you noticed it in our last video, and I kind of left you guys out to dry. The 1508 cow that was kind of had her foot lifted up and looked like she was gimping around. She's a heavy cow. Don't know why she's limping. Anything could happen out here. Well, looks like Tom's stuck in the corral again. I'll let him out so he can go hang out with his family. Morning, girls. Come on, Tom. All right, keep going there. Pretty guy. I'll open the gate for you. Keep going. Attaboy, Tom. Just wanted to go out there and be with his family. Better shut this for the bison get out. Not that turkeys are prolific flyers, but you would think that Tom would remember he's got two things that will make him. Come on, Tom. Oh, man, we're out of water. Well, let me get these guys moved and get them some water. Well, I had to move this turkey mobile unit a little closer to our barn so I could run the hose out here and fill our 15-gallon water up. It's pretty nice. Runs through a little tube, goes up, and comes down right here in this gravity flow water. Once you get it started, it goes pretty well, but these guys are in here grazing on this cover crop. So now what I've been doing is rotating it around pasture one here, and a lot of this standing dead dormant season grasses up here. So I'm gonna push it back over there in that thick stuff, and they'll kind of weed through it, I guess, essentially graze through it and make it a little habitat for a couple days, then we'll move them again. Well, to be honest with you, it's more of a workout than I actually want. I could use the ATV, but you know, it's kind of a little morning, get you going workout. It's fun. It's fun. Got it moved. Wild turkeys taken care of. Plus, supposed to get a cold front, another one. We're gonna get into our first freezing temperatures. So this is facing the south now, and this kind of will protect them. So I know it's kind of been a while since we've actually talked about these little guys here. Most of them were born in May, so they're about 6 months old now. I've got 3 Easterns in here that we hatched out. And I remember I traded a guy that had some Rios, which we're kind of more in the Rio Grande area here in central Oklahoma. But we do have a mix of Easterns, but I really wanted to focus on the Rios. And he's in Eastern Oklahoma. He wanted to focus more on the Eastern wild turkey. So we did a little bit of swapping, and I've got 8 of his Rios. What we're gonna do here pretty soon is I got another buddy locally here that is into raising lots of poultry and stuff. What we're gonna do is split this group right here. Oh, there's Tom. He's going to take about half. I'm going to take half. And together we're going to divide and conquer, essentially. He has a big, large incubator, way better than ours. We're not using ours anymore. We had so many issues with our little cheap ones on these turkey eggs. No issues on chicken eggs, but just not a good rate as far as turkey eggs hatching in those cheaper incubators we've been using. So they've got an awesome incubator. They know what they're doing, raising turkeys, and together we're going to try to raise as many as we can and trying to get this population reestablished here in this part of Oklahoma, where there used to be thousands of these guys, but there's just not near as many wild Rio Grande or Eastern turkeys like there used to be. That's kind of what inspired me to do this. It hasn't been a very successful story. It's been challenging. This is not like raising chickens. It's a little bit different. And Tom, he's over there hanging out. But he's kind of the lone survivor of the first group we went through. And I've kind of learned some lessons on all of this, and it being our first one. So let's get this going here. So these guys are actually getting a little bit big for this pen. And that's one of the reasons I kind of want to divide this up. Yeah, this one gets heavy. All right, Tom. Have a good day, pretty boy. As you can see, weather can change fast in Oklahoma. It's very unpredictable. It's about as unpredictable as a first-time visitor to Yellowstone wanting to take a selfie with a certain animal, if you know what I mean. The bakers fall off the grid more than we should, which is why I kind of question our electric company. Speaking of being prepared, I'm cooking up one of our favorite meals tonight. And when you're off the grid, this is an easy one. Inspired by the taste of Nebraska, which is where my wife is from, bison chili and cinnamon rolls. Yep, cinnamon rolls. I want to thank Jackery for sponsoring today's video. So when the weather here in Oklahoma does decide to have an identity crisis and the lights go out, we're going to be prepared with the Jackery Home Power 3600 Plus, the essential home backup that's going to keep families powered during outages. With 3600 watts of power and an expandable capacity up to 21 kilowatt hours, we can run what's truly important: dinner, snacks, and most importantly, my morning coffee. And if you're like me, kind of particular about my coffee, I like to grind it every morning. Get a little fresh roast, make it kind of dark, and just get a little grind there in your teeth as you're trying to wake up. Coffee is a lifeline. Don't judge me. Keeping my family happy and my morning's fuel. Doing one of our cool season favorite meals, bison chili, made by Dad here. And I never thought I'd really like it, but I do. It actually is really good. Chili and cinnamon rolls. It's delicious. We got an air fryer / conventional oven, crock pot. We got it all rolling right here with the Jackery 3600 Plus. In case you're wondering how we can charge this bad boy, there's 3 different ways. Auxiliary power outlet in your car, clean, free, and easy solar, or good old-fashioned AC plug-in. Now don't get me wrong, I love cooking and I love my coffee, but I also like to keep my customers happy. And when the power does go out, the internet still expects us to send those bison sticks out. This portable power station is a plug-and-play emergency backup in just 2 seconds. With the exclusive zero drain tech, minimizes self-discharge to under 5% per year. That guarantees reliable standby power when emergency strikes. And when you got orders to fill, and Karen's emailed you 10 times wondering where her jerky is, we got business to take care of. The unfortunate part is this printer is more dramatic than the Oklahoma weather. Hey, but it's working. With Jackery, we can keep that internet flowing, that computer alive, and that label maker printing. So we can get those orders filled and sent out to our Bison friends, and try to keep my wife's anxiety down. One of the great features of this Jackery, the slick wheels and the nice little pop-out handle, makes me feel like I'm carrying something important through the airport. Now this is where the panic sets in if these freezers turn off. The Bison meat is our business, it's family dinners, it's emotional support protein. Another highlight of the Home Power 3600 Plus is this digital display. It's going to tell you your input, your output. It's even going to tell you how many hours possibly it can run whatever you're trying to power. In addition to that, you can use the Jackery app easily from wherever you are, right there off your cellular device. You keep the meat cold, you keep the rancher calm. Get that plug and play backup for any of your critical food supplies. By the way, this Jackery is the world's lightest 3.6 kilowatt hour home backup system. I can roll it anywhere we need backup power before this next cold front sneaks up like a ninja raccoon. And then, y'all thought I was kidding. Y'all didn't believe me. Chili and cinnamon rolls. My one's right. Storms are coming, but with the Jackery Home Power 3600 Plus, the essentials stay powered. The family stays warm and the business stays running. And most importantly, the meat stays frozen. Well, if you don't want to feel left out like Tom here when it gets cold and you're out of power, get your home essential backup for your family today by using our link below. Now y'all be prepared, stay safe, keep that chili warm, and your meat frozen. Is that your car seat? Me and hired hand here, Bullet, we're headed down to the, oh, here he comes. He's got to stick his head out of here. Me and Bullet are headed down to see the Big Joe herd. We're going to check on our cow. A lot of you noticed it in our last video, and I kind of left you guys out to dry. The 1508 cow that was kind of had her foot lifted up and looked like she was gimping around. I checked her, and I didn't get back to you. Also, while I was filming, you noticed that a calf snuck behind me in the middle of filming. I may have noticed it, but didn't say anything about it. I don't know if you guys know this or not, and maybe you learned something new about me. So I took this class at Oklahoma State back in the day when I was going to college, and it was ornithology. I was actually really scared, and I thought, this is going to be a really boring class. It's going to be hard. It ended up being one of my favorite classes at Oklahoma State. Ornithology. Ever since then, I've just had a small fascination for birds. Well, here recently, most of the birds have migrated south. However, but some come here for winter. And one of the birds that just came here recently, I've noticed huge groups of them, is the Eastern and Western Meadowlark. Matter of fact, I know it's a meadowlark, but I don't know which one it is. The Eastern Meadowlark is actually in a high decline right now. I think in our part of the country, where we are, we have most of the species is Western Meadowlark. Well, there's tons of them here. When you drive down throughout the pasture, I noticed that one of them flew in front of me and then it dove down right here in the grass, and I was trying to film it before it takes off because typically you can't get up super close to them. But I do want to know, is this an Eastern or Western Meadowlark? Because they love these type of grasslands, which is what we're working for. Now we're parked right next to a couple of our pecan trees out in pasture 2, but I was trying to get some footage of these birds because I want to know if it is the Eastern or Western Meadowlark, because we need to do our part in paying attention to the Eastern because it is in a kind of a threatened native grassland species birds right now. As a conservationist, as a regenerative ag guy, I pay attention to that, and I love just seeing different species of birds. It's sitting over here and it's kind of bundled in down here. It's a really neat bird. It's got a yellow belly, it's got some streaks on the side of its head, and it is native here, but I love kind of paying attention to stuff like that. Of course, if you don't know, one of our missions as part of raising the American bison, it's restoring native grassland, and that's what we're doing here. We're doing it chemical free, we're using prescribed burning, and we're using grazing with our bison to bring back native grassland. And we're doing mechanical removal of cedar trees and unwanted trees, because back in the day, there's a lot of cool imagery of what this place looked like. When the fences started going up and the lack of management started going on with private landowners, the growth of trees kind of sunk in this area. And so my goal is to bring back native grasslands. And when you do that, you're helping a lot of things. And I'm sure we could go into a lot of small detail about all the things that we're trying to achieve and that will happen when you bring back your grasslands. But one of the things that I like to keep track on is the native grassland birds. Let's see if I can sneak out here without him flying off. So right now he's bundled up, he or she. Oh, there he goes. Was bundled down in that because it is windy today, and I'm sure was trying to hide from me a little bit. What are you doing, knucklehead? You want to come out and roam a little bit? Come on. There you go. We may jump up some. Look at our pecans coming in. Looky there, guys. It's exciting. Should be coming out pretty soon. They're breaking out on their own. That's what we want. Native pecan right there, y'all. Goodness. Just right here growing naturally out here. Love our native pecans. Look at them starting to crack open. They'll start falling pretty soon. Well, we just pulled in pasture 3, which is currently where the Big Joe herd is, and I've had them here for a minute. I think they're asleep right now, so we're gonna sneak up on them. Everybody's gonna get up, do their stretching. Be happy to see us. Morning, everybody. Well, hello, Peaches. Hey, Big Joe. Pretty guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them cubes again since since they're in the mood for it and we got the truck in here. So the cow I kind of left you hanging on that I noticed as soon as I pulled in the pasture was kind of lifting her back right leg is right here. It's a 1508 cow. She just got ran off, kind of hiding here out of the wind, but it looks to me like she still has quite a bit of a limp actually, and she's really lifting that back foot. Looks completely healthy and everything, but I definitely don't like that limp. It could be anything to cause that. Could have got too close to another cow like you kind of saw there, so she must be lower in the pecking order. She's a beautiful cow. She's a South Dakota cow from Antelope Creek Bison, some friends of ours, the Osmonds, which we still have a lot of those here. She's a heavy cow, and I don't know why she's limping. Anything could happen out here, so more than likely I'm gonna have to go ahead and get an antibiotic. That's kind of one of the best things that you can do. Essentially, we don't have a squeeze chute and all that. Best thing we can do right now is get an antibiotic, get it in a dart and darter. More than likely, I'm gonna have to do that pretty quick because I thought, well, sometimes you can show up in the pasture and she had just got it hurt. Maybe she was running and fell in a hole or an armadillo hole or something like that, and she's just limping. But then you come out and you check them again, and you're like, no, she still is limping on that leg. And you're like, okay, well, something's going on. So now I'm gonna have to get an antibiotic and go ahead and dart her. And that typically takes care of those kind of little issues because it's stressful to get her up there and then load her in a trailer and do all that and inspect, and then even then you don't know if you're going to get an answer or not. So we can at least give her an antibiotic. Won't harm her at all. We're not consuming her anytime soon. She's one of our foundation females, so that will be something that we're going to have to do probably fairly soon. So I was talking last time and filming like I always do, and try to keep the bison in my back. I can see through my camera, but I didn't notice this, but you guys did, which I love it. But you guys wondered, well, there's a calf that snuck through in my last video while I was talking, and I went back and watched it, and I was like, yep, there sure is. There's a calf sneaking behind me. Well, here's the reason why. So I have honestly failed. Nope, this is obviously, this is not hot. We started using a hot wire system 2 summers ago. We started it. And anyways, I have failed as a rancher, and I've been just lazy, basically. There should be 3 strands here, 1 right here in the middle, and so you can see this large gap, probably 2.5 feet. Well, the calves actually shoot through there, which is where I just planted a cover crop, and there's green coming up. So the calves can fit through here, and you're probably wondering, well, Dusty, how are you doing this with bison? Well, now they're all coming up here. I better get a little closer to my truck. Get in here real quick before they get too close. And you guys are probably wondering, well, Dusty, how do you do this with bison? And here's the reason why. It's because you can kind of sit here and listen. You hear a lot of shh, shh. That's because they're walking through all this grass. We planted a cover crop in pasture 3, which is currently where we are. This is where we had all the issues with the water situation and we were losing the calves. This is where it all started. But we gave this pasture 8-9 months of rest. And so we had a lot of grass growth. We had a lot of forage come up because of that. They grazed it during the cover crop time, but other than that, we've let it rest, and it's got a lot of good forage in it. And so if you also have noticed, we haven't had to put hay out yet. Guys, we started putting hay out the past 3 or 4 summers in about October. So we're still in early November and have not put out any hay. And that's because we gave this pasture time and a lot of regrowth. So that's what the bison are eating on. They're eating on this standing dead or this dormant grass, okay, that's covering our pasture. That's what they're consuming right now, which is basically hay. Instead of us rolling out hay, they've got all of this. So we're not having to put out hay yet, which is awesome. Now, we're probably gonna have to start putting it out soon because I don't want them to eat all of this standing dead. We wanna have a lot of cover or organic matter to pass on into next spring and summer. But because we've given our pastures growth, and I will say this, it hasn't just been our efforts, it has been the blessings of rain in late summer that kind of give it that extra boost that we typically don't have. The rain pretty much stops here in July, and luckily we've had a lot of regrowth because of a little bit of rain in August and a little bit in September. And when it does that, we get a little extra growth. Along with resting your pastures, this is what we've got. Meanwhile, Big Joe is just sitting here waiting on me. Big Joe's just waiting on me to give him some more cubes. So we are just kind of supplementing them for protein-wise because there's not a lot in our standing dead. I like to give them our 20% cubes. It's just a 20% protein, kind of like I explained in my last video of why we do that. So we supplement them. I'll probably do it once a week at this point. Hey, buddy. Something else exciting that I get to do this coming week is I actually get to help work the national park herd here where it all started for me at Chickasaw National Recreation Area in Sulphur. I have been invited along with Doc Parsons, our vet, to work the bison there. They need a little bit extra help. And so we're going to work their animals there. And I think they have maybe 13 somewhere in there. Maybe they've got some babies. It'd be awesome to film the situation, but because of the National Park Service and I'll be actually hands-on working them, we're not going to film it because filming in a national park is pretty tough. You got to have a lot of permits and stuff. So just be on the safe side so I can focus on the animals, which is why I'm there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to bring you along on that, but I'll get the experience of working with those animals again, and maybe I can capture some stuff, but no guarantees on that. We're working our bison November 21st here at the ranch, and that'll be the annual thing that we always do, and of course we'll bring you along on that as well. I want to thank Jackery for sponsoring today's video. Order your Jackery Home Power 3600 Plus today. Stay safe, stay warm during this winter season, and be prepared. Big Joe wants to thank you guys for watching us today. We'll see you guys soon. Keep home bison ranching.